Now, as you can see, I am still connected to the command line through PuTTY to my server 1, and I am connected as root. Well, first off, because we have just done a clean install, we have got to make sure we have got the latest version of the software that's available. So in a run, you go to command yum, which is our software manager, and we use yum update, and I hit enter on this. We're then going to check our software repositories, and these will generally be online. Also, you can configure local repositories for any update software that needs to be replaced. Now, of course, we will be looking at security updates as well as just general improvements. We can then go through and hit yes to accept. The options that we have: Y, D, and N. Y for yes and no. D is just for download only. But let me go through and choose Y for yes. In the next course, we will be looking at maintaining a running operating system. We will be looking at how we use our software manager. This will just take a little while to run through, so we can allow it to run through and we can continue once the installation has finished. At the end of the update, we will get a summary of what has been updated. Included in this was a new version of the kernel, the core of our operating system, as well as other utilities. If I clear out the screen with Ctrl L, we are now going to add some additional software that we would like. Remember, we only put the minimal install on. I'm going to run the yum install, and this time I'm going to -y, so we don't have to accept the parameters to continue. I'm going to put on Red Hat -lsp -core. We can separate any of the packages by a space. These are just our default separator within the command line shell. We're going to want our net-tools. These are just common packages that we can use all of the time. The Apple release package that I am putting on is going to put on a new software repository. This is going to allow me access to the main desktop, the graphical environment that I want to use. Kernel headers. This is why it's really important to do the update first, because we want to make sure that we have got the same kernel that match the headers and the development tools that we get. I need the kernel headers and the kernel devel for development. Kernel devel for development. I need this for when we put on the drivers and software for VirtualBox, our guest edition. So once we have been carefully about typing the package names, we want to make sure that we select the right names here. Then we can hit enter to continue. Once that has gone through, we are now going to look at something slightly different, but only slightly different. We are going to put on a group of packages that we will go yum group install, and then -y, and we are going to put on the development tools. This is in quote because we have got a space inside the group name. Again, this is for when we are installing the VirtualBox editions, the certain tools that we are going to want from this group package. Now, what we have there is really the base packages that we need if we are going to put on the VirtualBox guest editions, the extra drivers and software that helps the system work better within the VirtualBox environment. But on this one, on server 1, we want this to be our graphical machine. We want to install the desktop as well, so I'm going to clear out the screen with Ctrl L. I'm going to up arrow K to my group install, and we're going to put in text Windows System. So capital X space Windows System. Again, this will be a case sensitive. We also want to go through and put on the main desktop. This would take a lot less resources than using num3, and it's probably a more simple desktop. especially for a server environment. There is still going to be a lot of software that it put in, but we are really looking at doing the simple minimal install first, because a lot of the concentration that we're going to be looking at is working from the command line, and it's only going to be a lot quicker putting the minimal install and then working to add the packages that we want. It is also, even though perhaps less convenient, it's certainly going to be quicker installing a Windows environment using a smart desktop than the GNOME desktop. Now, we need this through on our server 1, and I'm going to hit enter. We want to make sure that we have got the graphical environment set up before we install our guest additions. Once we have the X environment on our graphical desktop or setup, we can clear the screen. We now need to make the system use this. So we can use systemctl, and we will see more of this when we are looking at managing our services. This is our new service management tool, and we're going to use systemctl, and we're going to set a default run level, or what is called now targets, through the graphical.target. We need to make sure that we enter that environment now. So we go through and use the installate subcommand to take us through our graphical target. And we're not going to see any difference when we connect it throughout the command line, but on the server we should see now that we are running a graphical desktop. So we can see the graphical desktop that we have now installed and have running on our server 1. We now need to look at doing similar on server 2, but remember, we don't need to put in the X Windows system or the main desktop, but we don't need to reset of tools so that we are able to install our guest additions. In the next video, we will see how to install the virtual guest additions.